As Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons to be judges over Israel. But they were not like their father Samuel. They were greedy for money. They accepted bribes and perverted justice. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel and requested for a king like all other nations. You are now old, and your sons are not like you. Give us a king to judge us like all the other nations have. Do everything they say to you, for they are rejecting me, not you. They don't want me to be their king any longer. Ever since I brought them from Egypt, they have continually abandoned me and followed other gods, and now they are giving you the same treatment. Do as they ask, but solemnly warn them about the way a king will reign over them. This is how a king will reign over you. The king will draft your sons and assign them to his chariots and his charioteers, making them run before his chariots. Some will be generals and captains in his army. Some will be forced to plow in his fields and harvest his crops, and some will make his weapons and chariot equipment. The king will take your daughters from you and force them to cook and bake and make perfumes for him. He will take away the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his own officials. He will take 1/10 of your grain and your grape harvest and distribute it among his officers and attendants. He will take your male and female slaves and demand the finest of your cattle and donkeys for his own use. He will demand 1/10 of your flocks, and you will be his slaves. When that day comes, you will beg for relief from this king you are demanding, but then the Lord will not help you. But the people refused to listen to Samuel's warning. Even so, we still want a king. We want to be like the nations around us. Our king will judge us and lead us into battle. Do as they say, and give them a king. Then Samuel agreed and sent the people home. As Samuel became old, who did he put as the judges of Israel? Samuel put his sons as the judges of Israel. How was Samuel's sons as the judges of Israel? Samuel's sons were not like Samuel. They were greedy for money. They accepted bribes and perverted justice. What did the elders of Israel request to Samuel? They requested for a king like all other nations had. What did God tell Samuel to do about Israel's request? God told Samuel to give them a king as they requested. What did God say Israel was doing? They are rejecting me. They don't want me to be their king any longer. God tells Samuel to give them a king as they requested. What else did God tell Samuel to do? God tells Samuel to solemnly warn them about the way a king will reign over them. What was Israel's reaction when Samuel warned them about the king? They refused to listen to Samuel's warning, and they still wanted a king like all other nations around them. Hello everyone! Today we're going to look into the story where Israelites reject God and requests for a king. Samuel was getting old, so he put his sons as the judges of Israel. But Samuel's sons were not like him. They were greedy for money. One day, the elders of Israel came to Samuel. They said to Samuel, "Look, you're old now, and your sons are not like you. So give us a king to judge us like all other nations." God was leading and guiding Israel through the people like Moses and Joshua, or judges like Deborah and Gideon, and now Samuel. But Israel was not only rejecting Samuel, but they were rejecting God. God brought the people of Israel out of Egypt, and God had Israel cross the Red Sea on a dry ground. And when they arrived near Mount Sinai, God revealed himself to his people. And this is what God said to Israel and how Israel responded to God. "You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. You know how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the peoples on earth. For all the earth belongs to me, and you will be my kingdom of priests, my holy nation." And all the people of Israel responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." It seems like the Israelites did not remember this anymore. We know from the Bible that the Israelites did not obey God's commandments as they said they would. They continuously turned away from God and worshipped other gods. And now they're rejecting God altogether. They no longer wanted God to lead them, but wanted a king to judge them like all other nations. Samuel was very displeased, so he speaks to God for his guidance. And this is what God said to Samuel. "Do everything they say to you, for it is me they are rejecting, not you. They don't want me to be their king any longer. Ever since I brought them from Egypt, they have continually abandoned me and followed other gods. And now they are giving you the same treatment. Do as they ask, but solemnly warn them about the way a king will reign over them." The Israelites continuously did what they wanted, away from God. But they always ended up crying out to God when they were in trouble or needed God. After all the things that God had done for Israel, Now they are rejecting God. They no longer wanted God as their king. As I was reading through this, my reaction was, how can they do such thing? How can they reject God? But I realized that I am no different, and we are not any better. Sometimes we depend and rely on what we know and what we can do. We rely on our experiences, money, and people. Sometimes we turn away from God or ignore Him for the things we want and things we want to do, like skipping the Sunday worship or Bible study, or stop reading the Bible and pray, to go to the place we want to go and to do the things that we want to do. We exchange the time with God with the things away from God. The Israelites thought they don't need God. They thought they would be happy with a king like other nations. We do the same. We sometimes think we can be happier without God. God has put His purpose in us. Therefore, without God, we can never be truly happy. And without God, we have nothing, and we cannot do anything. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. Remain in God's love and His Word, and allow God to be in your heart. Allow God to lead and guide you and your life. God is the best King who can lead and guide us the best, because He is our Creator and the Creator of all things. There is no one who can do what God can do, and there's no one who loves us more than God. Spread the frosting on one side of the big pretzel stick. Then stick the frosted side of the pretzel on the plate. Use the frosting to stick the small pretzel sticks on the big pretzel stick and on the plate. You can put as many small pretzel sticks you want. Using the frosting again, put your choice of jelly candies on the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. John 15:5.